Well, good morning and welcome back to DG Trades. Hello to all of the new subscribers here. This is great. I really appreciate you guys subscribing. We're going to talk about 3 different assets. We're going to start with the crypto and we're going to get in some equities. We're going to get in some stocks I'm definitely interested in and currently in. Full disclosure, I'm in all these positions, and also this is not financial advice. I am a bald-headed dude, and you take your information that you gather here under your own supervision because you are an adult, if you can believe that. I mean, God. All right, so let's talk about ADA first. I think we've got a pump on hand here. We saw a break of this wedge, okay? I had it as a descending triangle. I was actually on the last video looking for a breakdown, and I was actually hoping for a breakdown to pick up more. I did lighten up here. That was a mistake. So yes, I make mistakes. And we can see the pump here. We can see hesitation. We call this a spinning top right here. And I imagine it'll probably end the day like this. RSI is relative strength index. It's usually a lagging indicator. It is up fairly high. We might get a pullback, even a little pullback down into 220, 215. In fact, we did get around 220-ish. And I should have bought there when I was looking at it. I got back in at 223. Here's some points to look at for selling. 246, 280, and back up around 3. So these are areas you might want to keep in line here. This is going to be a trade, and whatever I make on this trade, I will end up exchanging in profit for the coins. So yes, I did commit more money back here, even though I sold a chunk at a loss down here. I am back in. Overall, I am up on the position very nicely. And when I got confirmation that we broke this resistance line here and I saw it break as it did, I said to myself, you know what, we might be getting a rotation into ADA. We're seeing news coming out where Charles is talking about the Plutus backend now, PAB. And I think we are going to be talking about a team that knows what they're doing, and we're going to see successful completion of this PAB. And that is what I was worried about. And now I'm seeing Charles putting that in the focus, in the crosshairs, and that makes me feel a lot better. Thank you. The African news, that's great, that's wonderful, but that is really long term. What I'm looking for is actual adoption. Adoption is the juice. This is what makes these cryptos pump. How many people are using the dApps, the DEXs? We are waiting for a very important DEX, Sunday Swap, to say, hey, great, green light, let's go. And then boom. Now, that's what we're hoping for. Keep eye out on news for that. If we don't get that, we're going to see a back down. We're going to see a move back down rather quick. So be nimble on this. We might get a retest back down here off of this triangle, and then boom, another step up. But this is a coin that does not follow other cryptos. ADA usually goes up when things go down. It goes sideways when things are pumping. It can be frustrating to be in Cardano. But right now, being that I see a break of this triangle, I am definitely down for this. I have my trade, I think, set up around 290, somewhere thereabouts. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and kind of look at this every day and analyze it according to the news. And then just, obviously trade responsibly, set your stops. I think I do have a stop back down here around 172. I don't have a lot of dough in it, so it's not going to be a huge hit for me. So trade accordingly to your own bankroll and set your own stops. You can see a lot of key points of inflection to look at. The 187 is a line of support that it has hit quite a few times. Feeling fairly confident that that will hold. We might get a test down here, like I said, and then I think off to the races now that I've seen the successful penetration through the top end of the what we call a descending triangle, or some people could look at it and say, hey, this is a wedge as well. But we've always seen movement like this. This drop down, I was hoping for a drop down like we saw back here, but we did not get that. And hey, okay. All right, that's probably because we got the news from Charles that he's focusing on PAB, which is really important. We can also see down here on the MACD that we've got the blue line crossing the red, and we're starting to have some positive momentum, which is definitely good for Cardano. So keep tabs on that. That's where I'm at with Cardano right now. And I want to talk about two very interesting stocks, and I'll give you a little details. I'll put them down in the description for you to research if you're interested. The first is a Bitcoin miner. Actually, it's a clean energy company deciding to do Bitcoin mining, which is very intelligent. And I am in currently around 17. We've seen a meteoric rise from 11. Wish I had caught this sooner. And I'm going to draw a trend line up. We can see that it is kind of right now. It's at the point. It's at kind of that inflection point. Let me remove that. Let's draw a proper trend line here. I like to use the extensions of the candles as kind of like a guideline. So we could see a pullback. Obviously, this is dependent upon Bitcoin. We can see right here might not be the best time to get in, as the MACD, the blue line is crossing the red line. Momentum is fading, and we do have a consolidation phase right here that's forming. Okay, so it's taking a breather. It's deciding what it wants to do. It might dip down. It might not be bad to make an entry and then to lower, have areas where you're buying in. If it does go lower, with how Bitcoin and how strong it's been, I'm not quite sure we're going to get too big of a pullback, but let's draw some horizontal lines here so we can see some support lines for you guys. And then I'll talk about the stock. I would say a good point right there, around 1761. I am slightly lower that on my cost average, so I'm sitting pretty. Again, I still think there's plenty of room to run on something like this. Here's another point. Let's get another support line right around here, which is the 1985 area, a good buy. So these are good areas to put in limit orders. If it does break this trend line, it's a little disturbing. But even so, around the anything around 2019, I would say is definitely a good stage to put in as well. Right now might be one as well, but you can see we're definitely higher up on the RSI area and the MACD area. So these are two areas that I would say, hey, just be careful. We might see a pullback, and a pullback is a good buying opportunity. And I also want to show you, where it's been at. I mean, like, we're talking $42 at its peak, and we're over 50% down now. Some people say, oh, but DG, it went from 11 to 21. And yeah, that is amazing run. And it's getting a little ahead of itself right now. But currently I think I'm setting a price target of around $30. I think that this is a long-term good buy. I don't think it's going to be anything super quick at this point, since it's had the rise that it has had. But as long as Bitcoin keeps performing nicely, you probably are going to see this stock rise up. Now, CleanSpark generally is a company that deals in clean energy, all right, and they deal in a lot of solar and a lot of wind. And the CEO in charge said, I'm going to bring Bitcoin on my balance sheet, which is a really smart thing to integrate Bitcoin into your own balance sheet, because it will help bolster the numbers when it comes down to earnings. And a lot of companies are starting to develop this strategy where they're bringing in Bitcoin and putting it on their balance sheet. And it's a smart thing to do. You have an asset that accrues in value, and it assumes the value of Bitcoin, and it makes the company even that much stronger. Great talks with Michael Saylor and another gentleman named Breedlove. His last name is Breedlove. Can't remember exactly what his first name is, apologies, but they were talking about how a lot of these companies right now would be great in the future, and this is way down the road, where not only are they mining Bitcoin and accrue this of value that they are because of Bitcoin. By the way, CLSK can mine 2 Bitcoin a day at the cost of $6,000 per Bitcoin. So they're taking what they have, their business model where they're selling all these clean energy units, but at the same time, they're taking what they have there and they're mining the Bitcoin. So 2 Bitcoins every day only costs them $6,000 to do it. So anything Bitcoin above $6,000, they're making money. They're making money hand over fist, and they're not letting go of it. They're holding on to Bitcoin. So obviously they know something that many people don't. I do think Bitcoin is relatively very, very strong asset. We see it approaching the valuation of the market cap of silver currently. It just beat the market cap of Tesla. Elon talking about how he wants to, you know, sell Tesla stock. And we saw Tesla dump on the news and Bitcoin kind of bolster up. We saw Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, saying we're bringing in Bitcoin. We are seeing countries adopting Bitcoin. I mean, like, you know, at the end of the day, long-term wise, yes, this thing can hit 30. And on any pullback, you know, around these areas, I would say take nibbles and trade accordingly to your risk tolerance. Okay. Trade accordingly to your risk tolerance. So the first level I've got set here, and let me draw this, is around the $30 area. And there we go. I'll just, for the lack of, let me get a red line there for people so you guys can see. So right around that area is where I set my sell. And that sell will reflect the total profit, and I will switch it over into stock and hold that stock, and I just have a CleanSpark that I can hold till the end of time, and I'm fine with that because I do think eventually these companies will become the new energy companies. And you might say, what do you mean the new energy companies? Well, because they're holding Bitcoin, because they're selling clean energy, because a lot of Wall Street right now is looking towards Bitcoin miners that deal in making Bitcoin in clean energy and not in bad, you know, carbon emitting kind of mining operations. They want to have clean Bitcoin, by the way. Another good reason to own CleanSpark. You know, because more of the big money is going to hit like these types of companies when it comes to mining. And this is also very much under the radar. You never hear of CleanSpark. You hear a Hut 8. You hear of, you know, many other. Marathon, I think, is one. Not Marathon Oil, but there's a Marathon mining company out there. There's all these, the Hive and all these other ones. But when it comes to valuation, yes, this got a little ahead of itself. So be careful. But I do think on pullbacks, it would make a good buy. I'm in it around 17. If this pulls back down in the 20 area and the 19 area, I'll probably pick up a little bit more, and then I'll load up a little bit heavier if it hits back down towards my cost average. And just always plan for the worst. Buy as much as you can, you know, in phases. And what I mean by that is, let me back that up. Buy in phases. Usually light at top, you know, enough to make a decent chunk if that's all you hit. And then as you go down, get heavier and heavier and heavier in the terms of what you're putting forward in capital to buy this. So CleanSpark, good stuff. Again, this is not financial advice. This is my opinion. And I think it's got some legs here. And I'm going to draw another line here. Let me see, just to see where we're at. Give me 1 second, guys. I want to get real tight up on this, and I want to draw a line. If we went to the, I mean, this is a crazy meteoric rise. This is just right there. And you can see it's toying with this trend line right now. It's toying with it right here, just wanting to decide what to do. It could very well fall down. I do think, like I said, this is a consolidation breath phase. Like, holy shit, we just rose up from $11. Let's take a breath here and let's see if we have more momentum up. If Bitcoin does start dropping, which it hasn't, just hit all new time highs today. But if Bitcoin does drop, I don't think we're going to see much of a floor under 50,000. And if that's the case, this thing's going to drop hard. And if it does, I'm going to be happy because I'm going to be buying more. And that's just my opinion. And a lot of people talk about the Fed taper, but we got the inflation numbers today, and it did show that the inflation numbers were out of control, and we shouldn't see any rise on interest rate until June 2022. And I still think right now, relatively speaking, we're in the era of this zone of October through December where Bitcoin and Ethereum usually perform really good. So I'm going to hold a little bit here. I'm thinking maybe on this cycle we could get 30. If you got profits and you're all the way up there and it's 24, 25, 26, 27, and you're like, oh, then maybe sell a little bit and don't be too greedy. We never know where it's going to end up as far as the cycle when it ends. There we go, CleanSpark. Now, another interesting stock. Invitae, I'm not even quite sure exactly how to pronounce it. Apologies, it makes me look rather ignorant here, but this is a health company or a pharma play, and generally I'm not into these types of plays, except that it got hit so very hard here. And I've got this on a daily, and we can see it hasn't seen these levels since June of 2020. Now, this is a longer term play. This is a safer play. This has to do with a lot of what we're seeing with the genetic and DNA CRISPR rewriting of genes with a bacteria. It's rather revolutionary, and they missed by 1 penny on their earnings, and they just got hit. Wall Street was just like, whoa, like they just slammed this thing because they're worried about valuations. I think right here, this is exactly in the zone I want to pick up some of this at. So I picked up just a touch, and I think at these levels, it's good to make an entry. I do think if there is downside, it's very limited, but let's look at that. Let's get some technical analysis in here. So we're seeing right where it's at right now, around this, like right around the price it is now, the 21.92 area. We can see now, I'm going to draw that as a support line for now because I think that'll hold. But if it does not, I think the next area that you can get in or put another buy in is down here at the, let's see here. I want to go up a little bit further here, 1751 area. And then again here, let's do another support line here, right there at the 1518 area. So these are areas that look good for me that I will set limit orders in. I just put this on today, right around this price. I think that we're going to end up seeing this pop. It already has had a 6% pop on the day after the earnings. I think people are starting to kind of step in. What do I think is going to happen with this? Again, a $30 price target. So I will set the price target. And this is a very, very, very long-term play here. Realize this, okay? This could even have legs to go to 40 by next year. But this is obviously the stock market. This is equities. So these don't move as fast as crypto, so please be aware of that. This isn't going to move like all the way to $30 in a day, okay? Like this is going to take some time to get to that price target. So this is a relatively safe play for me. It's in a sector that is interesting to me. Generally, I stay away from these, but I do see value in this. Missing by a penny and getting hit like it did, I think personally is a little too much. Let's draw a trend line here as far as a resistance line. Let's draw that up there, right about there. Let's change the color on that to red. And so here we go. So, this area right here, I think we can fill a gap at the very least and get it back around 24-ish. So like on a quick trade, you might want to grab some and then sell somewhere around 24. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion as a trader. It could definitely fill a gap to 24 from here. Okay, depends upon market situations and everything going on right now. But we can see, this is just so juicy to me right now. We've got the RSI down huge. We've got the MACD down huge. Okay, it's probably going to take some time. It might languish here for a bit. It might even drop more. But if that's the case, that's why you set your limit buys to go lower. And this is a long-term, multi-month play. Sometime in 2022. Sorry, I think I said 2023 before, but no, 2022. I expect this to be around the $30 to $40 level. And that is a nice double, and I'm fine waiting in the equities market for that for 6 to 12 months. Obviously, keep an eye on market conditions. This is something where you have to just kind of analyze it day by day. I'm hoping for another drop. Like, honestly, I really hope this thing just drops and I can just buy more of this. If I'm looking at the long-term chart on this, I mean, this to me is just something of like, wow, this thing sold so hard. The high, which was set in December of last year, and then it tried to hit it again in the next month and just has gone down and down and down. And again, like on this recent leg down, it just literally broke. And you can see here, it is a rather large wedge. It's a descending triangle, and it did drop below it. So it's going to have some resistance coming back up. It's probably going to take a while to get there, but I do think you'll get a gap fill up to at least 24 from here. And I'm treading in very lightly. I don't see much downside compared to upside in this, and that's exactly the perfect trade setup for me. And that's why I call this channel DG Trades, because I want to give you good trades. Okay, so set your stop loss and your stop gains. That's what we do here on this channel. You be responsible. You look at what I'm showing you here for the technical analysis, and then you set up your own stops accordingly to your risk tolerance. Okay, so you know, these, as a technical analysis guy, as a trader, these are areas that you look at. And what I'm telling you right now is you can visibly see here with your eyes due to this analysis, like, okay, he's doing this, maybe I might do something a little bit differently. That's the whole point of the channel. That's what I'm trying to do here for you guys. So I hope these 3 setups are nice for you. You know, welcome all new subscribers, guys. And, you know, we'll come back to these occasionally. If you have anything you want me to look at, put it down in the comments below. Guys, you're super awesome. I hope these help you out. And again, trade according to your own risk tolerance. Okay? Set yourself some goals. Set yourself where you're going to get in and out, both on the good and the bad side. And you will be safe because you will know what you will lose and you know what you will gain on every single trade. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I can't wait for the next vid. And thank you for all the support and all the new subscribers here. It is great to be growing a new channel. By the way, you might want to check out my gaming channel. Awesome community, great people there, and I will see you on the next vid or stream.